Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for tonight's webinar. Dan looks like he's about to pop in momentarily. I see his name there. How you doing, Dima?
Good, Will. How are you doing?
And there he is, straight from the green room in Chicago, Illinois, Dan Passarelli, legendary market maker from the floor of the CBOE and long-standing friend of MarketChameleon. Thanks for joining us tonight, Dan.
Great to be here,
Thanks,
Will.
Dan.
Awesome. Before we get started, let's read the disclaimer. How about that, D?
Yeah, let's do that first. So, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Before we get started, keep in mind, Dan, Will, and I and MarketChameleon, we're not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers. We're not telling you what to do. We're just sharing ideas. If you need professional help, contact your broker. That's what they're there for, to help answer your questions and provide you with guidance. And with that, I think we could jump back in and get started.
Yeah, I have to say, Dan, Dimitri and I do a show every morning, 9 a.m., a little plug, a pre-market show. And every time Dimitri says, if you need professional help, something goes off in the back of my mind. I'm like, should I see a therapist? What's going on? But tonight, for everyone, we have Dan here, who is a professional, and he's here to help walk the Chameleon community through some different ideas he has. We're doing it on two venues, Zoom, which we have about 25 people on Zoom right now, and also on YouTube Live. If you're on Zoom, any questions for Dan? Dan, you like to go to your questions during the show, after the presentation? How do you like to do it? I forget.
At the end would be great.
All right, so just put your questions in the Q&A if you're on Zoom. If you're on YouTube Live, I will try to grab those questions and get them to Dan at the end. With that, Dan, why don't we get started? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I got started in this business 28 years ago, knocking on doors of the Chicago Board of Trade building and handing out resumes. Got myself a job as a runner, making $9,000 a year, my first job out of college. So, kind of worked for peanuts for about 4 years. The way I look at it is I kind of paid about $100,000 in foregone salary by working these, $9,000 jobs for several years while I learned the ropes. But I'm glad I did. I stuck it out and ended up becoming the biggest traders in my pit.
My recollection when I was in Chicago and worked on the Board of Trade running for Iowa Grain, everyone on the floor had like 3 or 4 other jobs, working nights, doing, trade checking in the morning. I mean, it was whatever you could do to try to get to a position where you could one day trade.
Dude, I was a waiter. I worked in a kitchen of an Italian restaurant, a flower shop, managed a band. What else did I do? Cold called for stockbrokers, tons of stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's amazing, the stories. So what do you got for us tonight, Dan?
All right. So I prepared a special presentation. I like to be real organized to keep myself on track and make sure I cover everything I want to. So I prepared a PowerPoint, and if everybody's ready, I can jump right into it.
All right, let's go.
All right. Then I'm going to share my screen then, okay?
All right.
There's my fancy schmancy background there. You see all the logos, right?
Got it. Yep.
Okay.
It's the same color as your room.
Yeah, that's right. I took the swath to the paint store.
Yep. It's a good color. A lot of creativity. Love it.
So anyway, all the attendees here, I hope you're feeling great tonight. I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here with you right now. Thanks for joining me. Today, I'm going to share with you how you can replace uncertainty with confidence. So you can profit consistently no matter what the stock market's doing using my simple data-driven, real money proven earnings trading system that literally takes 3 minutes to trade. This is what I do no matter what the market's doing, including and especially in this market right now. And the market's been tough lately. A lot of traders I've talked to, they haven't done as well as they'd like to have because they've fallen victim to surprises, head fakes, misleading narratives like that all make it impossible to get the results they want. And It's tough lately. And you know what? It's not your fault. This earnings trading system is the best opportunity I know of to reclaim that feeling of control over your trading and to quite possibly have the next 6 months be the best months of trading you've ever had. This unique opportunity involves trading around earnings announcements, and I've cracked the code on how to do it. And since earnings season is starting this Friday, I agreed to come here and speak with the Market Chameleon family of traders and introduce how this all works and give you the opportunity to take the next step and start using this system immediately. Sounds great?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. As always, before we get started, I need to point out options are not for everyone. You should read characteristics and risks of standardized options before trading. So in my 28 years in this business, I have seldom seen such an unpredictable market. This is my promise to you. Tonight, I'm going to share with you how you can replace uncertainty with confidence so you can profit consistently, no matter what the market's doing, so that you don't have to spend years trying to figure it out on your own and to finally have that financial freedom that you deserve. This technique uses my proprietary earnings trading system. And at the end of this presentation, I'll share with you how you can take the next step and get started getting immediate results. Fair deal?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Also, the only way to make a change is to follow through, and to take action. You're the one in control. In order for you to get the most out of this, allow yourself to give this your full attention. And to keep the focus, like I said, I'm going to hold all questions till the end. If you have a question, write it down for later. And that being said, let's just keep it positive and have some fun. So this is a pictorial representation of who I am, what I do, some of the organizations I've worked with. I've traded for years down on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange, wrote 2 of the most popular books on option trading. I've worked with probably every major options broker in the US and even abroad, as well as pretty much all the options exchanges globally too. And I get to be on TV a lot. And, you know, I guess if you spend enough time in an industry, 28 years in trading for me, you stick around long enough, you get to do a lot of cool things. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. Here's the thing. If you've traded earnings, I can help you do it better and to be more profitable with less risk. If you've not traded earnings in the past, then you're in the right place and at the right time, because this can be one of your most profitable trades. And I'm not saying that trading is easy, not by any means, but I have my strategy down to a simple 3-minute scan that'll blow your mind. I've taken the decision process of whether a trade is worthy of your time and money and energy all the way down to as little as the time you should spend brushing your teeth. And I'm going to share that process with you. So let's go back to simpler days here, shall we? This is pre-market crash, pre this coronavirus stuff. Goldman Sachs was up 23% over this 12-month period. I have a question for you. And by the way, I like interaction, so I want everyone to answer this question. Would you be happy with a 23% return in a year? Go down to the chat box and tell me a yes or tell me a no. Would you be happy with a 23% return in a year?
All right, everyone on Zoom, let us know. First one depends on the amount you invest, but someone says no, Francisco. Wow.
Oh, Francisco.
He must be killing it.
Yeah, okay.
I would say it depends on what the SPY does that year myself, but 23% off the top of my head seems pretty good. Ahmed, what do you think? Yes, Ahmed says great. Charles says, these are from YouTube Live, says great. Normal says no. Ahmed says yes again. MG Graham says yep. Jeff Cutler says yep. Anyone else from Zoom? But it seems like you've got mostly yeses, Dan. Actually,
Yeah, you know what? Like right now, a lot of traders would be thrilled with that. But I kind of like what the no's are saying too. Trading's hard for a lot of people because they rely on markets going up, you know. Just like you're making a comparison to Will, you said it depends on what the S&P 500 is doing, you know. But what if I told you there's a strategy that it doesn't matter if the market goes up or down and you can still make money and potentially really good money? Well, here is the big news. Traders can do better than returns like these in all markets, and actually you have to. Look here, interest rates are near zero. So that's bad for banks, companies like Goldman Sachs. And the market being crazy, it's bad for money managers. But do you know what has saved these firms lately? Their trading units. So look, Goldman has 36,600 employees. Average salary of $367,564. And that includes like the interns, you know, the runners, the people who are making peanuts that get coffee for everybody, right? Like the traders are making bank, right? And if you multiply 36,600 times that average salary, the total like salary payout for Goldman Sachs is $13.5 billion. And that's salary. That's before bonuses, and traders trade for the big bonuses. So in order for Goldman Sachs to pay out $13.5 billion, a bunch of bonuses, overhead, and all the other stuff they do, and to retain enough money for their stock to go up 23%, they literally have to make hundreds of percent a year. These are the kind of trades professional traders make. That's why they make 300 or 400 grand a year before those gigantic bonuses. When I started on the trading floor, I was given a $30,000 account by my backer. Making trades like this, like a professional trader would monthly and weekly and daily, enabled me to turn that $30,000 like well into the seven-figure area in a short amount of time. A lot more than 23% a year. And this is what's possible. And that's what traders are doing every day. So let's zero in on earnings trades here. There are several advantages to earnings trades. That's why I'm so excited to share this with you. First of all, they're market independent. That means that I don't care if the market goes up or down. It doesn't matter, right? They're also very short term on each trade, which limits broad market exposure. So, you know, we're trending up, we're trending down, doesn't matter at all. There's potentially greatly leveraged profits overnight. There's an extremely simple yes/no test to screen trades. And the opportunities, like there are earnings released all year, like every week of the year. But when we get into the heart of earnings season, right? Like it's just going to kind of start a little bit this Friday. In a couple of weeks, we're going to get into the heart of earnings season. The opportunities are so concentrated in a short period of time. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. The biggest week of opportunities is the week starting January 25th. Remember that date, January 25th. Very important. It's very important to be prepared for that. That is when there are literally hundreds of earnings announcements every day. We are at the beginning of a life-changing time to trade. And so, you know, my next bullet here in bold, when is the best time to get prepared, to get started learning all this stuff? You know, like, oh, next month, you know, 2023 sounds great. Like, when is the best time? It's now, right? So that's why we're here today. And the biggest advantage to earnings trades is they work. And it wasn't until I was a trader in what we call a retail account trading, like most of the traders here attending this webinar, that I discovered the power of time spreads. Now, ironically, after trading thousands of time spreads on the trading floor and honing my skills with them, mostly in the form of risk management and execution, I learned the last 10% nuance that pushed the power of time spreads for earnings over the top for me in kind of a unique way. So this was maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago or so, right? Long story short, I found myself on the phone with one of the producers from Bloomberg Television, and they asked me to get interviewed down on the trading floor. Now, I do this fairly regularly now, but this is the first time I'd ever done this, you know? And so, truth be told, I was a little, you know, geeked out. I was excited. I'll tell you the truth, you know, it seemed kind of fun. And so the producer was saying, okay, Dan, here's what's up. Apple has earnings coming out tomorrow before the open. So today we want you to give us a trade on Apple's earnings. And so then it was like, oh, really? Oh, man. It was like, you know, I like to say it was like when back in the day when they used to, you know, scratch the record, you know, across and the music stops and everybody stops dancing like, wait, what? And that's kind of what happened, because a lot of people don't know this, but most professional traders don't trade earnings. It's crazy, right? Like, I bet you did not know that. Most professional traders don't trade earnings. When I was trading down on the trading floor in the pits, you know, I think I mentioned earlier, like at one point I was one of the biggest traders in my pit and even for my firm. And I was not given the responsibility to trade earnings. I could basically do anything else I wanted because it's the most unpredictable time of the quarter. And so the thing about me, for those of you who know me, like I always put my money where my mouth is, right? So if I'm going to talk about a trade on national or global television, I'm going to have the trade on, you know, like just a matter of principle. So I said, okay, listen, give me 1 second. I'll call you right back. And I ran over to my trading computer. I was like, okay, what kind of trade makes sense here in Apple going into earnings? You know, you can't buy calls or puts because, you know, nobody can, I've never met in 28 years somebody who can accurately predict earnings, you know, after the announcement. You know, there's some great tools like MarketChameleon has that we can talk about later that help a little bit with that, but it's very, very unpredictable, you know? And so, you know, you also don't want to do things like credit spreads or selling puts or anything, because it's just such disproportionate risk reward on this riskiest movement day. And I'm starting to get, you know, demoralized, like, oh, I got to call this guy back and tell him I can't do it. And I was like, I don't know, let's look at a time spread. And I looked at it and I was like, holy cow, this is a great trade. This is a total no-brainer. So strong. So I immediately put the trade on, did the interview, and the trade worked like a charm, and the rest was history. I was hooked after that. And later, I came across some data that I'll share with you in a minute that gave me the black and white proof that this was no fluke. When the right criteria are met, this is a genuine consistency trade that can be used over and over again to crank out consistent profits during earnings season. So about 95% of the time, the system is going to trigger a time spread when it triggers a trade at all. A time spread is when I buy one option and then I sell another option that has less time to expiration, but the same strike price. Both are calls or both are puts. So that is a time spread. We're always buying the longer term and selling the shorter term in this case. And the data show that these usually work when certain criteria are met. And that's really important. I'm definitely not saying, yeah, just go and trade a time spread on every single earnings play. Like that would be a disaster. That would not work. But when certain criteria are met, these work great. Now, other times when other criteria are met, we use straddles. Straddles they're often weak when it comes to earnings because the implied volatility explosion leading up to earnings. But when we do our yes/no screen, we'll show that there are times, less than 5% of the time, when they do work. Mostly we're going to stick to time spreads though. Let's look at why. There's a lot of data here. Don't get hung up on trying to read all the numbers. For now, here's what's important. Here, look. What this slide shows, if you sell short-term options the day before an earnings event, they lose value greatly once earnings are announced. The next trading session, which is good. Now, the longer term options also lose their value between putting them on the day before earnings and then after the announcement. But the key element of this observation is that the short-term options lose way more value than the longer term ones. So what that means and what this essentially proves is that when certain criteria are met, trading time spreads around an earnings event is effectively a long run consistent winning strategy. And you can see the results down here. These are basically the steps. So write this down. There's a few details, involved, but this is the gist. So first we find all the optionable stocks that have earnings coming out after the close today or before the open tomorrow. All right. Got that? Following me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we'll find several trades a day, and sometimes there are hundreds to analyze. For example, the week of January 25th to January 29th, there are literally hundreds of trades, and it's an extremely important week to be prepared for. Then, using the yes/no screen technique, we see to see if we should continue on with the potential trade. And by the way, this is your first step and will literally save you like hours and hours of your precious time and make your life so much better starting, with step one. Not to mention, it'll ensure you're only trading the best trades, the ones with edge, meaning they have a statistical advantage in your favor. So then your win rate increases and your winners are bigger, as a matter of fact. So let's see. So we only continue on with trades that have a positive term structure of volatility. And the greater the disparity in the term structure, the better. That step is critical. This is what I did on the trading floor every day and then put it into this earning system to simplify for our students. Next, we run the is-was check by modeling the spread on tomorrow's days with a variant vol crush on both the short-term and the long-term option based on a partial reversion to the mean, but also relative to realized volatility. And then we compare that to the past to get the modeled endurable gap. All right, write that down too, modeled endurable gap. The modeled endurable gap, that's just my way of making this completely foolproof and black and white. So then it's super easy for you. Once you have all that, you'll know exactly which trades to put on and which to stay away from. Now, this is where Market Chameleon comes into our system. And it's very, it just makes it so much easier. Our earnings class is by far the most profitable class that we offer to our students. I used to teach this class and literally hand calculate all the modeled endurable gaps, which took kind of a while for each trade. You can do it. Like I literally took out a calculator and look at the open and the close, and it took a good 7 minutes per trade, and it's or 10 minutes even maybe. And so I was so crazy grateful. I've told Will and Dimitri this 100 times already. I was so grateful. That's the only word I can think of. So grateful when I came across Market Chameleon, because the system is so much easier now. And this is literally how we're able to take the trade analysis down to just 3 minutes per trade. you'll get the opportunity to see how that works in just a few minutes. Now, here is where most people go wrong. We put the time spread on the session immediately before earnings. This is a less than 24-hour trade. And that is critical. We follow the MTM proprietary earnings trade technique that I just showed you and exit the trade at the precise time the following day. And look, everybody screws that part up, but I'll show you how you can get the timing right later. It's actually fairly easy. But then, like, this is the list. Then it's just rinse, wash, repeat. So let's go through some examples here. First example is in McDonald's. These are, like real trades that I made in my real account. And this is the first time spread. So the session immediately before earnings, I think, if I'm not mistaken, earnings came out like the day before. So we put this on in the afternoon, the day before earnings. We sold 10 of the McDonald's 4-day to expiration 165 calls at $1.75. And at the same time, as part of one spread, we also bought to open 10 McDonald's 11-day 165 calls at $2.11. So that's a total differential debit of 36 cents. Now, the next morning, earnings comes out, and we wait for the criteria to line up, right, for the precise time that we need. And we just simply close the trade. We buy to close the ones we were short. So we bought 10 McDonald's. Now they're 3 days. They used to be 4 days. Now they're 3-day 165 calls at $1.29. And then we sold to close 10 of the McDonald's 10-day. They used to be 11, 1 day past, 165 calls at $1.81 and collected 52 cents. So the trade made 16 cents on a 36-cent trade, which is 44%. So let's make this more tangible. If you bought a 10 lot, you'd have invested $360 and made $160. Factor in commissions, and of course, it's a solid trade. Now notice, and this is important, I wanted to make this as black and white as possible. So I assumed for this example, buying the offer and selling the bid for presentation purposes. But in reality, because the bid-ask spreads were so wide, particularly on closing the trade, which is almost always the case, by the way, if I'd have used our technique in this class for middling the market, the profit would likely have been a bare minimum of 20 cents better in this case, which is $200 more on this 10 lot, or in this case, more like a 100% return. But again, I just wanted to show this example in a pure, unarguable way. In reality, managing the bid-ask spread on closing the trade, like I said, is where most people go wrong. People leave thousands of dollars on the table every earnings season by not doing this one part right. The results I show that are sort of the worst case scenario for this particular trade are good, but they can be great. Now, I want to make this very realistic and show you exactly how this works in real life when you middle the market with the MTM 25-20 middling technique. These are some screenshots of my account, my real account, on an earnings trade that I made in a past earnings season. This is Oxy. So the day before earnings, I bought to open 20 of the Oxy Feb 22 66 calls at $1.49, and I sold short to open 20 of the Oxy Feb 15th 66 calls at $1.31, which is 18 cents. So here's what's important. Getting into this trade, buying to open the February 22nd 66 calls, I paid $1.49 for them, but they were offered at $1.50. I paid 1 penny better than what other traders might do. And I had to sell the Feb 15 66 calls. I sold them at $1.31, but they were $1.30 bid. I traded those in the middle of the market, got an extra penny. I paid 2 cents less for this spread, which is 10% less. I'm starting this trade off 10% better than people who don't know how to use that technique. So the next day, here's what happened. I waited. I just simply followed the system, put in my order when the criteria were met, put in an order to sell at 30 cents, and I got filled, but I only got filled on 2 of them. So just, again, following the checklist, I lowered my offer, put in a 27-cent offer for the balance, got filled, and boom, that comes out to a 51.7% profit in one day, which is about $279 in money terms. Now, that first trade was great. The second trade was great. Do they all work out just perfectly like that? No, they don't. Sometimes there's going to be trades that don't work out, and sometimes, if the stock moves too much against you, it can be problematic. But the nice thing here is that not only do we have limited risk, but we have very manageable risk. This trade is another trade that I made. Bought 30 of these MGM Feb 15th, March 1st, 29 put calendars at 20 cents. The next day, the stock really got away from me. And the markets were wide, and it was one that just really went totally awry. But guess what? I just simply was patient. I followed the rules that we lay out in the system. And when the right criteria were met, I put in my offer to sell, and I was able to close it at 19 cents, which is a 5% loss, right? And, we can kind of go on, and especially when we get to weeks like the week of January 25th, where it's really important to be prepared for that week, I could give hundreds of examples. This is another one that I traded in Las Vegas Sands, but 15 of the March 3rd, April 18th, 68 call calendars for 50 cents, sold the next day at 70 cents, 40% profit, which comes out to about $300. Again, in actually less than 24 hours. So let's talk about what's really important here. Like, what is important here? Consistency. Consistency is what's important here. If you can drive consistent profits over and over again like this, like, look, man, if you could collect, 280 on the one and 300 on the other, and you've got hundreds of trades to choose from during the week, like, how much can you make in just 1 week, right? Like the week of January 25th. So consistency is everything. And the other thing that's very key, like I've been talking about, is management. Management makes money. I call those the 3 M's of trading. Entering the trade is easy. We simply follow the checklist. Closing the trade is easy too, but there's a little bit of nuance. The one rule is we always close the very next session. We never hold this for more than 24 hours, and for good reason. This requires a little bit of nuance, but I'll show you a resource to make those nuances really easy to manage in just a moment. This is a system, and that's why these trades are so simple and are so great. Work the system, and the system works. Are you getting this?
We are getting it.
Awesome. So let's also talk about realistic expectations here. Like, I want everybody to understand, like, just how powerful this is. How often can you find trades like this? And the answer is all throughout earnings season. There are literally hundreds of trades. Are the returns common? Yeah, I literally have shown you screenshots of trades that I made from my trading account. And as you can see, these earnings trades can yield highly leveraged profits with low risk. What if the trade doesn't work out? They're not all going to work out, but risk is limited and, more importantly, manageable, and can be a small fraction of possible gains. This is all part of like a winning mindset. We have students who are determined to win in our community. Like, winning is the only option, And when you make that determination for yourself, there can be no stopping you. Like, we have people in our community chat room who are some of our top money-making traders, and they post their trades live for all to see during earnings season and even outside of earnings season. So now let's talk about how to make this work. This is a simple process that anyone can follow. The timing is urgent with earnings season starting this Friday. You can make the next 6 months your best of not just this year, but maybe your whole trading career, and repeat that success in future earnings seasons forever. And this is important. Earnings season, it's right here. It literally starts Friday. And that's why I'm giving this presentation today. Your timing is very, very crucial. So like, get ready to take action now or risk the opportunity being gone. Like, this is the time. And, you know, speaking of time, like, your time is valuable. Like, who has years to figure all this out for yourself, right? People try and they pass up quarter after quarter of foregone profits that should be theirs. Like, when is enough enough? When do you just want someone to simply show you what to do and then do it and begin confidently and consistently getting the results that you've seen that you know you can get? And your time every day is valuable too, man. I talk to people who spend hours trying to guess which way the stock will go on an earnings announcement, and of course, still get it wrong. That's time consuming and that's stressful. Traders don't make money when they're uncertain or stressed. This earnings system literally takes, with the help of Market Chameleon's platform, just 3 minutes to trade. It's following a simple checklist. It takes all the guesswork out, and that not only saves you time, but reduces your stress level so you trade better. This is the Total Earnings Domination All Access Premium Package. In this course, I'm going to share with you how to replace uncertainty with confidence so you can profit consistently no matter what the stock market's doing, using my simple, data-driven, real money proven total earnings domination system. Here's just some of what you'll learn: how to easily scan the market for earnings trades, where to get real-time data that pinpoint the winning earnings trades, the best time of day for entries and especially those tricky exits, the yes-no screen technique blueprint, the earnings time spread risk checklist for maximizing your gains and minimizing your losses, calculating the is-was gaps, how to manage wide bid-ask spreads on closing the trades, and of course, management makes money. That's where most people go wrong, but you'll see just how easy it can be. So you now have a new opportunity to trade more consistently using a strategy that works in all market conditions, to get a blueprint for earnings trading and watch live setups of earnings trades so you can easily follow along and to make the next 6 months your top performing yet. And if you've had some trades that maybe didn't work out in the past that lost you money, this can be an excellent opportunity to make that back. So this is our Total Earnings Domination 6-month all access premium package. So first, let me share what you're going to get with this class. You'll begin with the brain dump part of the training, the secrets to trading earnings bootcamp video. I'm going to put 28 years of my experience into your head with one short video. This is the keys to the kingdom. That's a $2,995 value. And why is it $2,995? Because if you can make the money we're talking about consistently on daily trades throughout this earnings season and for the rest of earnings seasons this year and forever, this small one-time investment can pay you over and over again for a lifetime. And you can see, by the way, there's no auto renewal at all. This is a simple, easy one-time investment. But isn't it important to you to make sure that you can put that knowledge to use, that you can actually do it? Today, you're going to get hands-on training starting on January 25th. The most important week of earnings this season. You'll log in and watch me trade live in a real money account. So you'll see exactly what to do as you follow along with me. You'll literally see the system being traded in the live market, and you'll make your first trade together with us as a group. This is the ultimate hands-on training. And we literally want you to have this mastered. So you're also getting our 4-part master class, earnings trading techniques from 2 decades on the CBOE trading floor. You'll know exactly what to do every time. This puts the power into your hands, and you'll have questions. So today you're getting 6 months access to the MTM community chat room that I mentioned before. You'll log in and get all your questions for other coaches. But another huge sort of secret benefit that I shared with you earlier is that the MTM community chat room is where all of our top money-making traders log in and post their trades live real time. This is an all-access premium package for $7,437. But I want to make this a complete no-brainer right now. Completely irresistible, so you can confidently immediately join us right now. A 1,000,000-mile journey begins with the first step, and this is your step. Right now, go to markettaker.com/live right now, and the first 30 of you who join us will get all of this for a very small, easy investment of just $497. 1, 2, 3, boom. That's a massive 93% off discount. And why would I give such a huge discount? Because earnings season is starting right now. And I want you to be one of our 1,000 trader success stories that we strive to create this year. People who take actions are the ones that can be great traders. You're the ones that I want in our community. When you see a great opportunity and fearlessly act on it. So to reward the traders who will move forward now, this 93% off is valid only for the first 30 people to join us right now at markettaker.com/live.
You know, Dan, I just put that out there for everyone so they have it on the chat and YouTube Live, and also in the chat on Zoom.
Awesome. Great. Now, here is an extra special bonus that's not on that slide. I want to make sure that this works for everyone, regardless of your experience level as an option trader. So if you're not sure if you have the background to be able to trade this simple strategy in the total earnings domination system, you can. And I'm going to make sure of it by giving you one of our most popular courses, the Options Impact video course. This on-demand course levels the playing field for beginner option traders. It covers all the basics you need to begin trading options confidently. Even if you've never traded an option before, you'll be able to start trading like someone who's been trading successfully for years. This Kickstarter course will put you on the fast track to maximize your gains this earnings season. And here's the big one, all right? Action takers, you are going to get this course that every one of our top traders has gone through. We're going to share live weekly drill down master sessions together. This is the MTM Trade Smart Workshop online education series. This is where I pull back the curtain. Each month we pick a different topic to drill down on, and I give you expert understanding of it so you can achieve mastery as an options trader. I can't open this up to 30 people. I can only invite a handful of traders so I can manage this process with you. I take this very personally. You're investing in your success, and so am I. I want to have quality control. So it's essential I keep this bonus class very small. Every week, this inner circle group gathers online. The next webinar happens in just a matter of days. It's this Thursday. That special session continues the session we're working on now, which is our hands-on portfolio management, hedging, and protection class, which is a very key element to being able to trade these successfully. For your convenience, these are all recorded also. They're live every Thursday from 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern time, but they're also all recorded in case you can't watch them live. With your password access, today you'll instantly get access to Mastering Time Spreads 4-part series, the Hands-on Portfolio Management and Protection 4-part series, the Mastering Vertical Spreads 4-part series, and many, many more. Now, this is a $1,794 value, but I'm opening this special bonus up only to the first 10 traders who take action and join me right now. Now,
So I'm confused, I must say. Is that the same link, or is that a different link, or is this first 10?
If you go to markettaker.com/live,
All right.
and you join us in investing in yourself in the total earnings domination package, the first 10 people to do that at markettaker.com/live, you are also going to get this bonus, but that I can only give that to the first 10 people.
Gotcha. All right.
And I do that. I mean, look, man, I'll tell you, I do that as an incentive because look, we've got a reputation for cranking out successful traders. And in order for us to do that, I'm not looking for the person who's riding the fence, who can't make a decision. I'm looking for the people who say, yes, this is it. I see the results. I know I can do this. I'm in. You know, I'm looking for the fearless action takers. And so because you're the people that I know I can help the best, I'm gonna over incentivize you. So
well, I know we've had people on the past who speak very highly of Dan. Anyone who's out there, I mean, Dan obviously gives a great presentation, but a little piece I've heard from people is he's a great educator and he's super helpful in his chat. So I think we had Charles on earlier who took, I think he said your options boot camper was watching. So there's tons of positive feedback about Dan's product and education out there. So
cool. Yeah. Thanks, Will. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Now, this earnings cycle, guys, is one of the most important earning cycles in the history of the stock market. And you know, it has been that kind of a year. So you know as well as I do that is no exaggeration. Analysts are waiting to see what the earnings are to give guidance for the future. And that means traders can make more money than they ever have before. This process, I mean, it starts Friday. When you enroll today, you'll have basically just enough time to get through, first of all, the options impact videos if you're new to trading, and then the bootcamp video, the masterclass, and to be ready for these 5 classes that you see on your screen right now. Excuse me. It is really important to be prepared for this week. The first live class is Monday, January 25th. These are the 5 most important classes that you'll attend this year. I mean, probably this decade. This earnings season is the opportunity of a lifetime for those of you who know how to put that opportunity into action. So it's go time. For those of you who've been waiting for the right trading opportunity, like this is an opportunity to change your life. And I want to point out, I used to only make this available for the quarter that people were signing up. But this 6-month all access premium package, not only are you going to get these 5 live hands-on classes in January, but you're going to retain access to everything and also get the 5 live earnings classes in April too. So you get the double benefit. It's like you're getting double the class. Now, those 5 hands-on training sessions are all 100% totally live. And if you can't make it live, they're all recorded, but you'll want to watch them later that day so you don't get behind. I'll reveal all the top earnings trades of the day, each of the days in these 5 classes. And I'm going to prove that anyone can do this, regardless of experience, because you're getting the options impact videos, and also regardless of account size. So here is my guarantee to you. I am actually going to trade these trades live while you watch with real money so you can see exactly how it's done and follow along. And in fact, I'm using less than a $10,000 account to show that anyone can do this regardless of account size. So join us at marketticker.com/live. And I want you to meet Jill from Cincinnati. She joined our class, I believe it was maybe a couple quarters ago now. One of the first trades she did together with us in those live coaching sessions that I just described. She bought a Microsoft time spread that met our criteria, as did I and other students in the class. She bought the spread for $2.65. And in less than 24 hours, she sold it for $3.75, locking in a 41.5% profit. And she posted it real time in the MTM community chat room for all to see, which you will have the exact same access to. The MTM community chat room, which is this, is where all our top money-making traders log in and post their trades live real time. If all you got out of this total earnings domination premium package was to watch some of our top six-figure traders posting their trades real time so you could follow along, wouldn't this be worth it just for that? But I also want you to meet David Z from South Lake Tahoe, California. He said, I closed the last 5 at $1.41, total gain of $425 less commission. The class has paid for itself. And this was feedback that he gave during that first week, during the live trading sessions. This is Russell K from Glendale, California. He says, I'm above 80% win rate. Most of the others were maybe 5% loss, only 1 total loss out of 16 trades. Like you said, middling is really important and waiting for the bid ask to normalize. Just waiting that hour made a few of the trades winners instead of losers. So, there is just certain criteria that has to be met, like I said. This is Tyler M from Lexington. This is like, he emailed me. This was in the PS of his email. I didn't ask him to say anything nice or anything. He just said this. And oh man, when I got it, it was like bringing a tear to my eye. He said, I took Dan's MTM course about 7 years ago in college and was my first exposure to a structured options trading strategy. He started me down the path that I'm on today. Now I'm a professional options trader at a fund. Thanks, Dan. So look, no matter what your experience level is, if you're really new to this, you're getting the options impact videos so that you'll be able to trade like somebody who's been trading successfully for years. And even if you're really experienced, we're going to get you to that next level, that level where maybe some of you have strived for it so long but couldn't get to it, and you're so close. We're gonna get you over that hump. Again, the total earnings domination package is limited to the first 30 people. The special bonus is limited only for the first 10 people. That's our action taker bonus. And I can see we've had a good number of people join us already here. Let's take a little look. We've got Siddharth from San Jose, California. Welcome. Great to meet you. Congratulations, too. Great job stepping up and investing in yourself today. That's awesome. You are making it happen. Congratulations and welcome to Frank from Montrose, California. Great job, man. Really great. Welcome Yolanda from Miami, Florida. Congratulations and welcome. You took an important step, and I'm so honored to be part of that success. Who else we have here? We have Ellen from Bonita, California. Wow, like
a lot of Californians there, Dan.
I know.
They love option education in California. Well, I'll tell you this, for 6 months, I mean, that I know my local community college, I don't think you can get a credit for a semester that's 1 credit. I don't even know if you can get any full course for $497 or $499, whatever it is. I mean, you're getting educated on a financial instrument where people are certainly able to make a living, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and it's an interesting time for higher education. It's outpaced, colleges, universities have outpaced inflation by a whole bunch for a really long time. And what's the cause and effect relationship of those classes? Like here, I'm literally showing you what is possible from joining this class, and there's a big cause and effect relationship. This is very focused, hands-on training.
Very, very cool. Any parting words, Dan? It's almost 7 o'clock. I thought maybe we'd get a chance to chat tonight, but I think my wife and I have a dinner date this evening, so we have to maybe stop by 7 if that works for you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you want to take some questions real quick?
Yeah, let's take some questions.
If anyone has any questions for Dan, please let us know. I know there was one question earlier, and it was a question in on your "Who am I and why listen to me" slide.
Yeah,
there was a question on, is that Rick Santelli to the right of you? The question was, is that Rick Santelli? Who's in the middle? And are you standing at the entrance to the Board of Trade?
Yes, that is Rick Santelli, a friend of mine, and the guy in the middle he's one of our students, one of our top students actually, who's been through this class, of course, and also been through that one bonus class that I mentioned.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, and yeah, that was in the Chicago Board of Trade lobby. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a great old classic building. Do they still have that floor in that building, or they moved it to another location? Is it still in the same place, the Board of Trade floor?
Well, yeah, the grain room is still exactly where it was.
All right.
They maybe 15 years ago now, they built a new financial floor and closed the old floor, which was taken over by a trading firm, actually that I worked on, and it looks nothing like it. It's all fancy now and not pits covered in sweat and blood.
Yeah. No, when I went out there in I think it was 93, and went down to the Board of Trade to work as a runner with Iowa Grain. I mean, you could barely make your way around the floor and I literally started off going into the crowds and picking up tickets from the brokers to take back to process.
What year did you say you started, Will?
It was 90. I want to say 93. Yeah. Iowa Grain. And then I worked for a small firm I moved over to the Treasury pit and worked for a group in the 30-year Treasury pit for a little while.
Who were they?
You know what? It was a local broker, and I basically would check the trades on the outside. I can't for the life of me remember his name. Yeah, no, it was an interesting time. And then I came back to Philadelphia, and it's a whole different world. Very, very, very tiny exchange, but they had a nice options business. And I got a job with Timber Hill, and that's where I met Dimitri, and the rest is MarketChameleon history.
Wow, that is cool, man. I started on the grain floor in 93, and then I moved over to the 30 years.
Oh, wow. Who'd you work for?
Well, my first gig down there was Griffin Trading. There's a small group, they're not around anymore.
All right.
But I stood over by the soybean, I stood at a desk when I was running by the soybean options.
Yeah.
A guy named Curly was at the desk next to us. And then I went and I worked for Tommy Gelderman.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Tom and Steve Gelderman, actually, both. And then I went with TradeLink.
All right.
Yeah. So
very, very, very cool. Anyone, I don't have the link or the name of the movie, but there's a great documentary on YouTube about the life on the floor. And I for the life of me, but it is very accurate to what things were like. I have no idea what it's like today, but I know everything has certainly changed. Mm-hmm. Any last questions for Dan? Let's get him now. Do you have anything to say or?
No, I mean, that was pretty good. It was pretty thorough. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much. Everyone have a great evening. Any last words for the Chameleon community, Dan?
Yeah, first of all, thank you all for sharing an hour of your time with me. I hope I provide some great value so you can hit the ground running tomorrow. Looks like a whole bunch of you joined us. I didn't get to read everybody's names, but welcome to everybody who I didn't welcome. So glad that you're joining us. You're going to love it.
All right. Good stuff, Dan. Dima, I'll see you in the morning. Dan, great job. Stay warm out there in Chicago, buddy. I know it gets cold this time of year.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone.